I need to meditate on this a little bit. But now I'm thinking we can just put this sound class in the effect entity and use the mutex with it whenever it's accessed. And the other part of me wants to make a vector, well, some kind of cue where I could pop things out of. So which one of those would be better? It depends on how we're taking the sounds out. So what I'm thinking is, for now we just call process sound. Yeah. We can expand on this, so we're not using a struct. And I'll call this out sound. Add input sound. Yep. So out sound, well, we just return it here. Well, that's not exactly right. We want to make this thread safe. So use something like this and something like lock mutex red equals m out sound, unlock mutex, that's to do by the way, and return the ret. So this will get us the current value of out sound. And for now we can just block until process sound's finished, because we just want to make sure the stuff works. So let me look up an effect entity. And I think this is where it gets messy. Not effect entity, but filter sound. Yeah, it's the write to buffer call. And it's a pretty simple call. It's just a stereo buffer. So if we call this on a buffer that we provide, it'll fill it up. The sound will fill it out for us. Yeah. I'm going to say we're going to want a new sound class. So this task is expanding quite a bit. And the reason for that is new sound class. With custom simple buffer. I mean, we could use the voice buffer class. And let's take a look at it before we jump into this. What's that called? Classes.input buffer sound. This is all it is. It's pretty short, right? All the classes so far are pretty short. So the write to buffer call takes a buffer of some size. Yeah. The only thing that's complicating it is these buffers have a lot of stuff in them. They aren't just well, and they're also input buffers, and by that we mean tracked by the audio callback and deleted via the update call in Input Manager. So just because of that, I would like to have another class, and maybe have input buffer sound inherit from that, if anything. Let's see. Is there a common ground? This ref count thing is probably not necessary for what we're talking about. Yeah. Because we can just allocate one buffer. I mean, we're talking about pretty small segments of sound. Nothing like a minute. If it was a minute, we might start to want to consider splitting things up. But even then, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to want our own buffer class. Anyway, let's use a sint16 buffer here. And we'll call that buffer malloc size of sint16. So the size, we can pretty much pick whatever we want. I mean, it's great if it fits the actual size, but it doesn't have to. What we don't want, though, is some sound that a buffer size that misses the size of the sound, that overestimates too much. So this is what we'll do. K internal buffer size, and we'll set it to sample size, and we'll just set that to Audacity uses like about 12 seconds for a buffer. I think that's reasonable. And so that's, well, this is 1 second, this is 10 seconds. How's that? Okay, so we got our buffer. Now we're just going to pass it to what's it called? Not self. The sound that we have, and that is, we'll call that in sound. So, I mean, we could just say m sound 0, but yeah, that is safe as long as we don't. I don't know. We want to also hear lock and unlock here. once we have the multi-threaded part. Yep, so that makes sense. I think it looks pretty good. It's fairly straightforward. Right, to do at least once when I search for it. Alright. At this point, we want a DQ. I'm not used to writing multi-threaded calls as within an object, but this should be fine. No. Yep. So this part's not done. So we're going to need several buffers probably and stick them into a vector somewhere. If not a vector, yeah, I think a vector is reasonable. So there's going to be a loop here. And how is it going to be? It should be a while loop. What are we checking? I think we're checking to see if the size is done. And that is actually this guy. Should be removed. So instead of m sound 0, what we can do is cache it in the beginning of the call. That is more desirable. And we'll call it in sound. Then we don't need to lock and unlock. Filter sound star in sound equals m sounds. And that's the only thing that we'll need. It's pretty much the same thing. You still need 2 locks and unlocks. That makes sense. Okay. So the while is in sound should be removed. While not, I think you can still do not Objective-C. Well, in any case, it can just translate that as a C++ Boolean or a integer. So this will be the main loop, and you want to do something with buffer. You want to hold on to it. So there could be there is an issue here because we are allocating at least 12 seconds for every sound. That's not good. If this was something like 1024, I would be able to let that go.